Happy Tuesday, y'all. I am Code Red.
I am your resident blonde Asian.
And we are the 100% Tuesday podcast. That was okay.
That was good.
That was good. I didn't have a...
I didn't get it all the way around, but
that's okay.
You know, count the million times I've done it right.
I can't.
If I had...
There's been so many that I can't.
There have been a few that were so good, though.
So good.
Like, I feel it in my
oftentimes
body.
on a dance floor.
Yeah, because I have no inhibitions.
Zero.
I just let it go. Like, my hair leads the dancing.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's a good way.
That's how I feel.
It leads the way.
I mean, like we said, if I was in a video game, even though I like having my hair down,
yeah,
my character would just have a giant ponytail.
Oh, yes.
And yours would be nails.
Nails.
Like, you would poke their eyes out. Yeah.
And fiery red hair, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Clearly. This commitment.
Mine would have a fanny pack, too.
Oh, I like fanny packs.
Yeah.
I do like that fanny packs came back.
Yeah.
I do like that.
I remember wearing them, like, I feel like I wore them and then they got really popular again, but I literally just didn't want to bring a purse wherever I went.
Yeah. You had the fanny pack long before I did.
Well, I got you into it. I was like, give it a chance. You would be surprised at how easy it is.
It's so great.
It's so hands-free.
Hands-free.
How about this? I'll riddle you this.
Okay. Riddle me this.
It's not really a riddle. It's just actually, what do they call those things? Like, unpopular opinion.
Oh, okay.
I'm a kind of woman who would prefer not to have pockets in a dress.
Oh.
Because here's the thing. The second you add a pocket, it changes the dimension of the dress. And if you're going somewhere fancy, figure it out.
Well, yeah, that's different.
But even a casual dress, I'm still kind of like, we get to wear whatever we want.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing. I do like a pocket. I do like a pocket in the dress sometimes. And not all dresses. They're not all for me.
If I had to pick one or the other, no pockets in any dress.
But I don't typically put anything in my pockets.
Right. So when
other
I
than my
see,
hands.
I get kind of a little like, when I see a girl, and the dress has pockets. Figure it out. It's your you have this big opportunity to wear a dress and not have a problem with it because, people are weird. Like, a guy could wear a dress, but someone's going to be like, why is that guy wearing a dress? No one's going to say, why is that girl wearing a dress? Why is that girl wearing a dress with pockets? It goes all around.
All around.
And it's like, if you get to wear a dress, wear the dress.
My birthday dress did not have pockets.
Well, good, because I don't like it when people say, oh, I want a dress. Oh, this dress has pockets. Like,
I'm not looking for a dress with pockets.
Right. But even when they discover it, they act like it's a bonus. And I act like it's laziness.
Okay.
Now, you have seen me with dresses with pockets, have you not?
Yes.
And you better believe I load them with crap.
I put my phone in there sometimes, like when I'm doing stuff, yeah.
But also some of the dresses I have with pockets, it's like you could see what's in the pocket. Like, my phone weighs too much to support the pocket.
Right. Phones do weigh a lot.
So,
these
yeah,
days.
I'm sorry. Again, everything we say, they're opinions. But, yeah, unpopular opinion. I kind of pass a little bit of judgment on women who think dresses with pockets are a bonus.
And I kind of like the dresses with pockets thing.
So this shows you that we just don't agree on everything.
Not everything. We agree on a lot, but not everything.
But here's my thing. Not that I'm trying to win an argument here.
Okay.
But I would say you're more ambivalent to pockets in a dress, where I'm more like a hard no.
You're a hard no on it.
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Just to clarify.
Yeah. Point of clarification.
Yes. I don't know if people notice. I mean, if you're watching, you will.
Yeah.
But you see how I have this blanket all the way up here. And she is using the same blanket as well. And apparently someone you work with was surprised. Like,
no, it wasn't anybody that I worked with.
It was
it was a guest or whatever. And because, we post our stuff on the Instas and all that.
100%Tuesday.com.
That's us. He was like, oh, yeah, what? And so he was talking about it, and he goes, but are you guys in the same room? And I was like, Yeah. Yeah, we have 2 cameras and they're coming at different directions. And he's like, oh, and he's like, yeah, but they have these blankets. Is it the same blanket? It's not the same blanket. Yeah, it's the same blanket.
Yeah, this is like I bought like a queen size. Like first of all, they were kind of hard to find because most throws are like 60 by 70, 50 by 60 or whatever.
Yes.
And I was like, no, I need like if I fall asleep on the couch, I need to be prepared.
Oh, absolutely.
So I got a queen size one, which it's more money, and also not.
I have one too.
It's not as
this
popular though. It's just not as popular as
not for a throw. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess throws to me, like, yeah, I I have several throws.
Several.
But I don't utilize them.
Yeah.
Because I want to be covered.
Right.
As I am doing right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was asking you about that earlier.
Yeah.
But the significance of the blanket, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, and this blanket in particular is pretty significant to us because there was one time when we pulled the blanket out of the dryer and then we put it on and we were both just like,
it felt so good.
It was cold outside too.
Yeah, it was like one of the first like crisper, arid winter days.
And then we had a rotation of this one.
And then Jax's blanket, which is more like an appropriate throw.
Right. And Monday was helping switch them out, so we always had a warm blanket.
Yeah, so we could just sit on the couch.
Because that's what we do on Tuesdays.
Yes. It's the same couch.
Same couch, same blanket.
Yeah, so we threw that in because we have housekeeping, but we forgot what it was because we are a little bit delayed in our production schedule.
That's okay.
But, you know, we try our best.
And we changed. I had to change some things up. You know, last week I had my microphone on that side, decided it wasn't for me. So I had to do some maneuvering and readjusting and figuring out how I like it again. Yeah. You know.
So for now, this will work.
This will work.
Yeah.
But we have our topic. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, she was not happy about this topic.
Notice I wore, and I didn't even plan this, I actually wore my fur mama sweatshirt that I got probably from my fur babies. I had 2 cats. Their names are Merle and Oscar, and they are the cutest boys ever. We can agree to disagree, of course. This is my opinion. But our topic this week is pregnancy.
Yeah, pregnancy. It's a powerful thing. It seems like it's also like, in a weird way, a rite of passage. But that's kind of what bugs me about it.
I know. Like the idea that in order to, I don't know, like I'm supposed to be pregnant because I'm a woman.
I don't know if it's just because of my age, but I kind of feel like, and I'm sure people are going to be like, no, that's not it at all. But I almost feel like I am not a complete woman until I experience pregnancy
and childbirth
and all of those things.
And being a mom. Yeah, absolutely.
And it sounds negative. Like I'm really trying not to be negative. But, you know, you can't, at this age, you can't help but feel that.
No, well, not only can you not help but feel that, like I think we start to feel that because it's also kind of put on us, you know? Like, right. I don't know about you, but I've definitely had the, oh, do you have kids? Oh, do you want, oh, it'll work out. Oh, and I'm like, I'm good.
It's the it'll work out thing
I hate the it'll work out thing.
Like, why is there the assumption because I'm divorced and doing whatever I want that I'm waiting for something to work out?
Right.
As a famous woman once said, it worked out.
Yes, it worked out.
It did. It just,
you know, I guess I feel like for me, that was something that I didn't realize until I guess I started to realize that more and more as I got older. You know, I was somebody that I definitely had that thought in my head of I'm going to do this. I'm going to meet someone and fall in love and go to college and then get married and soon after have babies and do all this stuff. Well, that did not happen. As I got older and as time went on, I was like, maybe I don't want kids. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's not for me. I don't know.
I mean, think about the responsibility of children.
That's big.
The idea of, and it might make me sound selfish, but what I believe is if I have to raise a child, I have to do my best at everything,
Absolutely.
just so that they maybe are okay
In
individuals.
life. Yes.
No, not in life, just
People.
products,
Human
dare
beings.
I say.
Yes.
Like, did I do, like, and if I do one thing wrong, say the wrong thing at the wrong time, drive the wrong car, something like that.
It's a lot of
That's
pressure,
my
man.
fault. And I know people will be like, oh, you can't blame parents for everything. But
No, you
how
can't.
I mean, I feel like that's how a parent would feel. Like, oh, me, all her successes are hers, but any failures, I feel some sort of weight about it. At least my mom did. Like, I know that.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I know my mom, of course, always felt weight, and she always felt, she was always doing something to make sure I had better and make sure I had more. But that is a lot, and I feel like,
But that's my perspective. I feel like some people don't think that far ahead.
right.
They just think about like the rosy parts of it. But also, I didn't make a decision on it. I'll say that.
Okay.
But I'm also not wanting to change things in my life so I can get that, if that makes sense.
Right.
But I've had one of my closest friends say to me more than once, don't have kids.
Wow.
Don't do it. And she's someone I really trust.
Yeah.
And she's a really good mom.
Oh yeah.
Like an amazing mom, just an amazing woman in general. But, hearing her say that, I'm like, yeah, like you just add the list. But here's the thing. I thought I'd be a little bit older when I came to this kind of conclusion. I didn't think I'd lean more than one way or lean heavier one way this early in my life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be later on that I'd be like, yeah, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I think, for me, I'm in the same way. Like, I say like, oh, I don't want to have kids. I don't want to be a mom. I don't, whatever. But like, that sounds like a really like hard like decision, and in a way it kind of is. But
also making the decision to have kids, that should be a hard decision.
Absolutely. But I also am in that like, oh, so I'm 40, right? So like I think about that kind of stuff, but then I'm like, if I were in a situation and it did happen, and I think I'm sure I could find joy, and I'm sure I will be joyful, and I will be happy.
Yeah, we had this conversation before about like if we were to have kids, we would be fine. Well, one, we have each other.
Absolutely.
And two, like we understand responsibility and stuff like that. And I did actually have somebody else tell me, like, because I kind of came to that decision, and it was one of the first times I vocalized, I don't think that's for me, at least right now.
Right.
And he was like, if it means anything to you, I really do think you'd be an excellent mother.
Right.
And it's like, yes,
right.
I would like to think so. But I also like to think that just kind of like with getting married, really easy to get into. How are you going to get out of it?
Right.
It's more difficult than you think.
Well, and it's because you having children is not just about
and you can't get out of having kids.
You can't. Like that's just not how it works.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's not. Nothing's ever that simple, especially when it comes to.
And again, we're not saying that if you have had success in finding a man, or if you want to find a man and get married and have the babies, like we're not saying.
Or if you want to have the babies on your own.
Yeah, we're not saying that is. We're not throwing shade at that. We're just really, for the first time, I guess, putting this opinion out there.
Right, I know.
Which to me is a little bit scary.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But we're not like super anti. Like,
again, we said if it happened, great.
Yeah,
great. We go to the doctor. We take our pills.
We do
whatever.
what we need to do.
Whatever.
We take care of
Probably
ourselves.
go overboard with the nursery stuff. I know for a fact I would go overboard.
Oh my God, my mom would like choose like.
I know for a fact that like once a child was like of toddler size and had some hair, you'd be able to pick my kid out of a lineup.
Oh gosh, yeah. That hair.
I was born with a full head of hair.
I was not. they had to tape the bow. My firstborn baby picture, my
Aw.
newborn baby picture. They had to tape the bow to my head.
My mom told me, she's like, yeah, you had a full head of hair, and the nurses in the nursery kept picking me up, maybe because subconsciously, oh, this baby has a full head of hair. And then she said, yeah, so then when I got you home, I couldn't put you down. You would start crying. And I'm like, that actually
Aw.
makes a lot of sense. A little bit like that orchid delicate thing.
Yeah.
But she's like, yeah, it's a lot of hair that I had.
I did not. Not at all.
Is this naturally blonde hair just coming out
So
of my head?
naturally blonde. I was actually blonde as a kid.
I believe that.
Yeah, I was blonde as a kid. I was outside so much.
I feel like even as an adult, if we put you in the sun, it protected you. It just had your hairs in the sun for 4 days straight.
It would lighten.
Yeah.
But then
Without the red.
without
or
the
anything,
red,
yeah.
yeah. That would be no.
Well, you don't know because we can't do it.
No, we can't.
Because we've really cornered ourselves into our hair color.
We really have.
I've
often thought about like what would I do if I wanted to change, like, do I have to like change mine? Do I have to change it?
I don't think so. I think you just have to start wearing red all the time.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I did think about this because I am going gray, and my goal is to stay this way until it's all gray.
Okay.
And then emphasize that.
Okay.
But yeah, like, would that change anything?
I don't know.
I think because Tuesday, there's a lot of things to Tuesday, so it doesn't necessarily change.
Right.
But when you put colors
When you put
in a
colors.
handle, like, that's it. But also, I don't think people thought I was zebra ass online via my AIM message.
I forgot about zebra ass. Oh my gosh.
We just
Oh,
from our last
that was
week's
our last
episode.
week's episode, and
Yeah.
I forgot about it already.
But I mean, I just like the gimmick. The reason why I went with blonde Asian is because, in a weird way, those words, are they offensive? Neither of them are. But when you put them together, you're kind of like, should I be calling that lady a blonde Asian? You know, one time, my ex-husband, he was it my ex-husband? No, it wasn't. Guy friend, you know, at that point in his life where he just said goodbye to the hair.
Yeah.
And he ordered food. And you know how, like, I don't know if it does at your work, but some places you could see who your server is or what table it is.
Yeah.
And the waitress put in there, bald guy.
Yeah, we do that.
But
I don't do that. I don't think I've ever done that.
I would have done, like, BG.
Yeah.
But I don't even think I would have done that. Like, the fact that, like, it was hard to miss.
I usually
And it
do
was
it
by
based
the
off of
tip.
something they're wearing.
And it was right by the tip area,
Oh, wow. Bald guy.
too. Yeah, he took a picture of it. It was... I mean, it was funny.
But it means they want it. But it's like, that's the most recognizable thing, like, right quick like that, for them to, like, remember who you are. I don't know. It's
No, I understand that, but
Yeah.
it's like, that's why
I don't think that there was any malice behind it, or maybe.
yeah, definitely.
But
But
because sometimes I'm like, ooh, bald guy, he's hot.
yeah, I know, but I just kind of like how they're not. I don't know of any naturally blonde Asians. That's a housekeeping thing. So yeah, I don't know any naturally blonde Asians. So I kind of think it's like a paradox.
Yeah.
And like, I'm gonna snatch it before someone else does. There are a bunch of blonde
Yes.
Asians.
Yes.
Not that I am naturally blonde, right?
Obviously.
But that's why I snatched that up, because I'm like, I like it.
I like it too.
I think the blonde hair suits me better.
I think it does suit you. I liked the dark hair.
No, I could do that again.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I'll ever do it again in this lifetime,
In this lifetime.
because I feel like I have about like 8 or 9 more to go.
I don't know how many I have. I don't think I have that many.
And I definitely think I was some sort of magician
Ooh.
from China before. Yeah, I do. I think I helped with fireworks. And then I got into magic. And now I'm here.
On the 100% Tuesday podcast
Yeah.
on the big gray couch.
Now, I think your name,
Mine was a little different.
yeah, you didn't have like thoughts behind it. It was kind of just given to you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You didn't have, you couldn't, you didn't, it didn't come from you.
Well, it was, yeah, it was, but the funny thing is that it stemmed from like high school or right after graduating high school or something like that. And some of like a couple of the friends, like the guy friends in our group circle or whatever, starting calling me Mountain Dew at one point. And that was
Did you drink Mountain Dew?
no, it was because of
Your abilities,
my chest region.
which is why I said abilities.
Yes.
Yes.
And then I had like dyed my hair red, and so it became then Code
Mountain
Red
Dew
was a
Code
thing,
Red, yeah.
right? Mountain Dew Code Red. So then that's how that became a thing, and it just ended up kind of evolving into this thing later on in life where I was like, oh my god, and I'm red hair, and I think somebody said something like, oh, Code Red one time, like at work or something, and I was like.
How'd they know?
Yes.
Oh, was this after the podcast started or?
No, I think this was before the podcast.
Oh, so they just said it.
Yeah. So I think it wasn't anything super thoughtful for me. Super red hair.
Yeah, but like that the origin of the Mountain Dew, like that actually, if I was in college, that would have offended me.
Yeah, I think it was more of one of those context kind of situations, whatever, because I've always been that girl that had had those abilities or whatever, like even as a like middle school, high school, whatever. And so yeah, it started in like it was like a group of friends or whatever, and it was just I think it was just the particular guys that they were and the particular type of friendship and banter and joking and everything that we had as a friend circle.
I have to ask, was Link a part of any of it?
No.
Oh,
I didn't know him then.
okay.
I didn't know him until college.
Oh, I thought you said college.
Oh, no, like high school.
Okay.
So, yeah. Nothing that exciting. Really.
Yeah, that's weird that we got from pregnancy to our names.
I have no idea how that happened.
But even then, it's like you have a baby, you got to name it.
Oh, full head of hair.
Okay.
Full head of hair. Got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
So, yeah. But I guess if you have a kid, you have to name it. Now,
Yes.
let's see this. I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion, but I already know in my heart if I ever had a kid, there's no way I could already have a name picked out.
I think the only way I might is like I've often thought of naming if I had a girl, like, and this was something that came on like a little bit, well, not too much later, but especially as I got older after my grandma passed away, naming if I had a daughter, naming her Sally.
Yeah.
After my grandma.
And I know,
after my grandma.
I know a lot of people do that, and I completely understand it, but I also feel like it's unfair.
Yeah.
Like I will say I might do a short list or look at a book, review names, and then recall them. And then what I would do is say them at the kid.
Yeah.
And then see where the response was.
Well, and I think I kind of feel like I probably would have some ideas in my head or whatever. And obviously Sally is something very near and dear to me. And that actually wasn't her name. That was a nickname for her. And so I think I would, if I decided not to have that be her first name, I would maybe have that be her middle name. But I feel like I would probably make up my mind and make a decision when I met her for the first time. If you
have a her.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. And I personally think it's weird when I don't think nursery building is weird, but like having items with names on them already made out.
See, that I wouldn't do.
That just seems like a little too much.
Yeah, no, that's too much. Because what if the doctor was wrong?
Yes.
And you thought you were gonna have a girl, and ooh.
Well, that's what happened on Friends when Lisa Kudrow, her character, had the triplets.
Yep.
Chandler was supposed to be the name of one of them, but the last one was a girl.
Yep.
So she was the girl was Chandler,
Yeah.
which is like, that's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
But it's like, what if it's something, but I almost feel like it's like definitely counting all your chicks before they hatch kind of situation.
And my name is different than what my mom initially wanted to name me. So you can change your mind.
My mom didn't know if I was a boy or a girl
Okay.
in the gendered traditional sense.
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
if my mom knew if I was a boy or girl beforehand, but it was definitely a discussion between my mom and my dad because my dad's side of reasoning why behind everything was why I was named what I was named. So, because I was named after his mom.
Again, that's just my opinion, and like everything else, you could say, oh, yeah, I might do this, I might do that, but I feel like more often than not, people I encounter already say my daughter is going to be named blank.
Yeah.
Or that's what we're calling her, even though she's still like in utero. And my mom, didn't know gender. That I feel like that's like a very American thing, wanting to know so you can plan.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, no amount of planning isn't going to get you ready for your firstborn child.
Oh my God,
there's
I know.
there's just too
or
many
second
things.
or third.
And I think if I was I wouldn't want to know, because I wouldn't want to like inadvertently,
right.
Like
The juju.
right.
Yeah.
Like I just think of like, I think it was like a cartoon, or no, I don't know. It was on television though. And something happened along the lines of, I just don't want you to start throwing footballs at my stomach.
Ooh.
Like hoping like the kid became a good football player.
Right.
Like that's
right.
a very extreme example, but like I wouldn't want to inadvertently like home
Yeah.
on
And have this idea, plant everything. Yeah, no, okay.
like romanticizing something before
Right.
it's even there. I just feel like it's so gentle, and then it just seems like as like years go by, there's more research that if you do this terrible thing's going to happen, or
Yeah.
if you don't do this, there's a 50-50 chance this might happen. And that's just like, because like I feel like back in the day, like our parents, we didn't know.
No, they didn't.
Like the whole lead paint thing,
Yeah.
we didn't know it was bad. We didn't
Right.
know sun tanning was bad.
I mean, and there was a time that they didn't. It wasn't a big deal. Like people drank and smoked during their pregnancies, and it wasn't a thing. Like people ate raw meat. People ate like. It's just there's so many different things
like
now.
that we literally didn't know, and
Right.
now I feel like we know a lot.
Yeah.
So it's even easier, just like as carrying the child, feeling all that judgment almost.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I didn't walk enough today. Is
Yeah.
that tea actually, does it have caffeine in it?
Yeah. See, I try not to like. I kind of look at it as like like. Yes, I'm aware of all these different things, and I'm obviously want to do the healthiest thing and the best thing and whatnot. But I also don't want. I would try really hard not to bog myself down with making sure did it, because I feel like I would go crazy on that. And some of it I have to be like, well, it's a medium burger and not a medium well burger, and I took a bite, and I can't beat myself up over everything. I don't know.
But I guess, for me, I feel like I would beat myself up over that, because I'm the only one that's in control. This is so important.
Yeah.
Like, I think if anything, this should go to show you like how much I value the idea of bringing spawn into the universe.
Oh, absolutely.
And I remember
huge responsibility.
Yeah, I remember my one friend when I kind of was a little bit out loud about how I felt. And she was like, oh, I'm sad because I really think your spawn could be president of the United States. I'm like, that is a compliment if I've never seen one. But at the same time, I like doing whatever I want.
Right.
And I mean, do you ever feel like people judge you for just doing whatever you want? I think they think it's not sustainable.
Probably, yeah. I mean, yeah, inadvertently, I think definitely A little. I think I feel more than anything. It's the pity thing is what I
Okay.
get the most. It's the oh well, or like almost
I think
like
they go hand in
I
hand.
feel like there's almost this like, oh, I'm so sorry this didn't work out for you, so you're not going to have kids. And I'm like, okay, well, listen, first of all, I'm only 40. So
Right.
if I want to have kids, like it's still very possible for me,
This isn't like medieval times,
Right,
right? Like
right.
you could have a healthy
This isn't
baby.
even 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so like almost treating it like it's a something that didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
you know so and I get a lot of that, oh well, but then I will get the, oh well, you still have time.
You still
You
have
still have
time.
time.
It will work out for you.
You still have time. And or but sometimes I do, people say, it's not for everyone, and that's okay. And I'm like, you're right, exactly.
But also, I'm also like, I didn't ask.
Right.
And that's where, I guess, in a way, that maybe this episode, pregnancy, is a love letter to all those single women who choose
Yes.
to stay unwed, who choose not to have children. We're here supporting you because we virtually feel the same way.
Oh yeah.
Like because we don't judge people who have kids. I judge the people who judge my decision
Yes.
about not having kids.
Yes.
Like I'm missing out. I'm sure I'm missing out on some aspect, but you can't say that you're not missing out on what I'm doing.
Right. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I mean, I'm not unrealistic. Like, there is a side of me that has thought about. I'm like, wow, like it ends with me, right? Like,
Absolutely.
exactly. And I, it's me and my mom. It ends with me, like,
Yeah.
So I think there's that part of it that it's just like, wow, like there is literally no legacy after me, and that is something that can make
Oh,
me
man.
feel.
I've had guilt about that for sure.
It makes me feel emotional in that sense of like, wow, like, and similar to your experience, like I have had that, like, wow, you would bring such a beautiful person into this world, and and it's like, and I think about that it's like, wow, I would be doing good for the world, to like in some
Yeah.
way, like, so yeah, I do have a little bit of that guilt and a little bit of that reality check of like, this is it.
I definitely have had that guilt. I've actually lost sleep over it. But the thing is like my mom is so, when I told her, she was like, I respect and love the fact that you have come to a decision.
Yeah.
And the idea, like my mom worked really hard to get into this country and to be as successful as she is. And the idea of it, I'm not continuing that US legacy.
Right.
Because she literally, to me, is the American dream. She came here,
Absolutely.
she worked very hard, nothing was handed to her, and she just flourished.
Right.
And then she had me,
Right.
and then I don't want to have a kid. But I kind of like flip that and reverse it because I have a cousin in San Diego,
Mm-hmm.
and she already has kids, and we are actual cousins, like
Right.
not like Filipino people know how everybody's your ate or your kuya. Like she's my ate. Because she's older, because she said her age. Otherwise, in public, I wouldn't say if she was my ate. But she already has kids. One boy
Right.
and one girl.
Okay.
The blood's still there, so that made me feel better.
I mean, yeah, I definitely have cousins and blood, that the line of whatever. But for me, growing up, not really knowing my dad's side of the family, it's like my part of that line, of that particular family, of that bloodline. That's it, like, because I don't really know any of the rest
What
of
else
them.
they've done with their
Right.
lives.
I mean, I know a little bit here and there through social media and stuff.
Well, I guess also, I just hold my mom, because I was raised by my mom.
Yeah.
That's really important to me, but it's like, I guess with my dad's side, I have a brother and sister, and I know
Right.
my brother has kids.
Well, and I have half siblings as well.
Right.
I don't.
And it's so funny how we kind of just like reverted to our moms. Well, it's not funny. It makes sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, my dad passed away when I was only a year old. So, my mom had me at 23. She definitely didn't expect to be a single mom for the rest of her life, but she had, like, her family was just so amazing. And, you know, some of them, they took us in when I was a baby and helped out and all that. And so I really have a huge connection with that particular family. So much to the point, I don't know if I think I told you this, so much to the point that I had, even before I met my ex-husband and got married, I was even talking to my mom about changing my last name to her maiden name because of that connection with that family. It wasn't about, I don't want to be a part of my dad's side of the family. I don't want connection with that. It wasn't about that, because obviously I'm always going to have that connection, and it's blood, it's family, you know. But this is a family that helped raise me, literally.
Yeah, I don't think you told me that, because I had the similar thought when I was graduating from college, since she was the one who put me through college on her own dime. I thought about changing my name before then because I wanted her name to be on that diploma.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were talking about it, but then I was also engaged at that time.
Yep.
So was I engaged? No, I wasn't. On the way to.
Okay.
And we were kind of like, well, then you're going to have to change your name again and all of that. And I was like, that's true. And it's a different circumstance when you do it on your own versus name change by marriage. It's actually easier when you get married to change your last name.
You have your
the papers,
marriage certificate and all that. Yep.
So I opted against it. No, but I don't, yeah, you didn't tell me that story.
Yeah. Well, and then I met my ex-husband, and a year later we were engaged, and yeah, so never happened.
I was always thinking about just dropping my last name.
People ask me that a lot too, actually, like when I introduce myself, you know, they're always like, oh, I've actually had people ask me, like, do you have is it just that, or like, do you have a middle name and a last name? Yeah, that is my legal first name, and I have a legal middle name and a legal last name and everything. Like, oh, it's asking me if it's like just like a stage name kind of thing.
But see, then if they're asking that question, if it's a stage name, then it's just that, a stage name. You would still have a government first and last name.
Right. It was just weird.
No one's ever asked me, is that it? But they never asked what my last name was either.
Yeah.
Because I think it's distinguishable.
Oh, yeah.
We both have very distinguishable names.
Yes.
Like, you couldn't go into a souvenir shop and find a bracelet with our name on it, which, by the way, we actually had them made
for us.
And that was super cool. Like, we held up the bracelet line for sure.
Oh, yeah. We had like 6 bracelets made, I think.
Yeah, I lost one of mine, though, and I think it was during my dancing fury.
I think so.
Because you know that my wrists are small.
Yes.
And they use those beads.
Yep.
And I think that maybe that bead hole was just a little too big.
A little too big.
And I lost it. So somebody out there has a bracelet with my government name on it. And I really want it back, but I know it probably just got thrown away.
Probably. Yeah. I was really hopeful in thinking that someone would have taken it to guest services and we could be like, oh, thanks.
Right. But I feel like if that wasn't like a party for like 21 and up or whatever it was, I feel like a kid would have picked it up and said, Mommy, put this on my, because the colors were cool.
They were so cool. All the colors are cool.
All of them.
Oh, and then we got the flamingos too.
Yeah, and they have little legs.
He spent 3 hours making those flamingos, apparently.
It was worth it.
Totally. Well, he didn't make those in front of us. Those were already made.
So he could be pulling our leg.
He could be. We didn't haggle him on any of the prices.
No, I didn't want to.
No.
I found the value in it.
There was great value in it.
So it's just like, if it was one of those things where if they said, okay, we're going to go in the back and type it and then put it on a sticker, then different. I would haggle.
Right.
But he was there like,
yeah. I don't know. I kept on trying to figure it out, and I couldn't. I
figured it out. He's counting, but I can't count as fast as he's winding.
It was insane.
And the tension he had while he was doing it, I'm like, I would definitely vary my tension. Like, he's a professional. Talk about professionals.
Wow.
How many of those do you think he churned out? Eric, that was his name.
Yes.
How many do you think he churned out a day?
I mean, gosh, that was just 6 right there. He did like 4. I watched him do 4.
It was less than an hour.
It was less than an hour. I watched him do like 4 of them before we got ours made.
So it had to be less, I would say less than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
because of just the time. Yeah, you're right, because he was wrapping them up when we started writing on
Yeah.
the list what we wanted. I like how he really did surprise us, though.
He did.
He made us 100% Tuesday bracelets.
And
They matched.
those match, yes. And then I have a code red bracelet and one with my government name. And she has a blonde Asian bracelet. Oh, she has some of
I
our
only
bracelets.
have 2 of them. I'll put pictures up, but this one says blonde Asian and this one's the flamingo. But
And my flamingo's orange.
100% Tuesday. It's here.
Oh,
It's okay. I'll describe it. It's made out of some polyester type cord.
see,
Maybe 1 millimeter in width. It starts. I'm assuming he worked right to left.
yeah, I think so.
So there's a pink area, and then begins the yellow area with 100% Tuesday and a deep royal purple.
Yes.
And then that side terminates, and then it has all the green, and then it closes with a pony bead, like a plastic pony bead, and just a twist-a-rooney of the royal purple.
Aren't there's stripes, like kind of
Yeah.
like he made in like stripes on either end
And
of it.
2, which can bring us to another thing.
Oh, yeah. It's like our Cezara.
And what she's talking about is you see us, we say we're 100% Tuesday, but the logo, and anytime we have the opportunity to do it, we have 100%, as you would call it, / Tuesday. But that's actually music notation.
Yes, it is a Cezara. So a Cezara is a musical notation notating, right? Like a pause, like a moment, a break in the music that's not the end.
I have to pause for a moment. Is that the same as train tracks?
Yeah, they do look like train tracks.
But they're not. They're normally bolder, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure because I noticed that in music and I wanted to ask. Go.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's it's really that simple. That's all it is, right?
And the thing with Cezara, which is different than Fermata,
Right.
Right? Fermata's like that fun little hat with the dot. That's
like it's like the eye, the bird's eye.
yes,
Yes.
because you have to play something, sustain it for a moment,
Yes.
and then continue. Where a Cezara,
yes.
it's just
A stop. And it's very recognized. Like when you listen to a piece of music, like there are moments that
and
you
not just that, like Busta Rhymes.
yes. Whitney Houston,
It's a moment.
it's a moment.
but there's silence.
Right.
There's nothing like in
A clear silence. There's
Yes.
nothing happeing. But then we just started talking about how, like, sometimes you just need a little
we're done. I'm done with this statement.
and we're moving on.
And we decided that like it was a moment, and
Yeah.
that is kind of what, if you wanted to represent Tuesday musically, it would be a Cezara.
Yeah. It's that's exactly right. And oh my God, remember my nails?
Yeah.
So because of our Cezara and it being a big deal to us,
And this was before the podcast.
this was before the podcast, I did like best friend nails or whatever, and I had
It was for my birthday.
for your birthday, and I had all just different little things that were just kind of fun for us, and I had a Cezara, like I had
The staff.
the staff, thank you. The staff with the Cezara on it on one of the nails. And I was taking care of a guest or whatever. And he goes, "Oh, you have a Cezara on your nail." And I like literally stopped dead in my tracks. And I probably took like 4 steps back because I was so like, "What?" And I was like, "I'm buying you a shot."
And here's the thing, like I think you did try to preface it with don't go crazy, but at the same time this bitch would have paid up to $100.
I probably would have, because that's the thing. It's like so many people had commented on my nails, and it's like, "Oh, what is this? And what is this? And what does this mean?" And like, it just like, he was looking at them, and he's like, "Oh, wow, your nails are fine." He's like, "Oh, is that a," and it blew my mind that someone actually knew, where I didn't have to say, "Oh, it's a Cezara."
Yeah.
Like if I said, "Oh, it's a Cezara," some people knew, "Oh yeah, no, I know what that is." But the fact that he just saw the 5-line staff, there was no clef on the staff, so it could just be 5 lines across my nail. The fact that
Right.
he saw the 5 lines across my nail with the Cezara and just knew what it was without me having to say it, done. I spent $45 on that shot.
I knew you were, because I would have done the same thing.
I spent $45 on that shot. He got a shot of Don Julio 1942 Añejo. Compliments of me. Came out of my tip money.
You know what's funny now? What if people figure out where you work and they're going to just start saying to you, is that a Cezara?
Where? Oh, man. That was funny.
But those are still not as good as the espresso martinis we had.
Oh, my God.
That was so good.
Emmanuel.
And
so
Sir
good.
Don. Sir
I,
John. I don't know his name. But
I never could pronounce it.
we knew who he was and he knew who we were. That's all that
Obviously,
really mattered.
that's all that mattered.
Speaking of which, I didn't think this was going to happen. But she got me to watch another movie inadvertently.
Yes. I mean, it wasn't the whole movie.
Right. Well, I think it was the appropriate part for me to be a part of,
Right.
because there's no way I could handle the beginning. From what
Yes.
just seeing how it ended, there's no way.
It wasn't, and it hadn't been going on for that long, I don't think. I mean, it was one of those like shorter, like hour and a half movies on Netflix.
So here's what we're gonna do. I want, if you can, comment below with what movie you thought we were talking about. Honor System. We will reveal the movie.
Yes.
But you start it, and I'll fill in where I can, because I came in towards the last 20 minutes.
Right. So it starts off with this girl, right? She's probably like in her 30s, I'm thinking, like maybe young 30s,
I agree.
right? 30s, young 30s. She's gets picked up from the airport in this cab or whatever. She's being taken to this Airbnb or whatever because her and her best friend are going to have a weekend trip in Croatia. Okay.
That's a big hint.
Yeah, that is a big hint.
But keep going.
And so so her best friend, like they're part of this Airbnb is like beautiful view, balcony.
It's like a mansion.
It's like a mansion
because there were a lot of people
there was
staying
other
there.
yeah. So it's like all these little apartments in this like mansion kind of thing, right? So so they end up like, they're drinking champagne. They go out and party. Well, they go out.
Also, the best friend was in the process of, or was divorcing, or is divorced.
Yeah,
A separation.
right. And her soon to be ex is like loaded, basically.
Which is why they got that Airbnb. Or she was assuming that I'm going to be fine.
Right. And something about a credit card, like it's his credit card or something like that. I don't know. But so the cab driver, really nice. She's going to pay the cab driver. Oh, no, it's on so-and-so. It's already been taken care of.
I haven't seen this part of the movie. Is that the cab driver that we keep seeing?
Yes. Right. Okay. So it's like, she drops her off, whatever, and it's like, oh my God, this place is so great. And then they're gonna get all dressed up. She was tipsy before they even got anywhere from the champagne.
Wait, which one? Best friend or main lady?
Main lady.
Got it.
Main lady. And so they go to this club, and best friend's like, you need to live your life, and we need to like sow our oats and relive our.
They weren't on the same page.
They weren't on the same page because main lady's married with a baby, and that's part of why they went on the trip, right? Because
she probably hadn't been away since she had the baby.
Right. So it's like they're reconnecting as best friends. We're going to have this
Okay.
weekend trip, all of that, right? So then there's these like guys.
They were attractive.
They were very attractive. They end up being escorts.
Male escorts. That's a thing.
They both were drugged by them, but there was like stuff in their system. Basically, main lady wakes up and she's by herself in this Airbnb, and everything's hazy, and she doesn't remember because she was drugged. We didn't know she was drugged until this point. And and so she goes in this whole whirlwind of like, then she sees like blood on the floor. Like she picks up a thing,
Shattered
there's
glass.
broken glass and blood. And she's like, oh my God. She sees like stuff all around. She can't find her. Lingerie on the balcony next to the
Jacuzzi
on the balcony. And you find all this stuff or whatever. And so then she goes to the police. She's trying to call her friend. She's texting her. Nothing, no response. Police don't take her seriously. She's just doing drugs and she's just gallivanting around. She's just out partying. This isn't serious. And then it's just like, so then this cab driver just keeps coming back and he's now helping her.
Figure out how to navigate laws in a different country.
Right. And trying to help her find her friend because the police aren't helping her. But then you think it's him at one point because you find out he's like works with like, he's like Albanian mob people, whatever. Okay. I don't know. So you're like, oh, do we trust him? I don't know. And then you think,
no, either.
Then you think it's like maybe it's the male escorts.
Which seems the most likely, right?
Right.
Because of the, kind of stigma being an escort has, let alone a male escort, I'm sure.
And the girls were drunk and then they're tipsy and they take them
and they willingly let them into their Airbnb.
And then the guys they find out that they stole her bag and phone.
Because there's a creepy guy you find out, I was already involved with watching. You find out later on that the guy that owns the Airbnb has a secret sound room with monitors of everything. Now, it makes sense to surveil your property, but this wasn't just your regular surveillance. It wasn't like balcony door entrance.
Right. It was like bathrooms. It was bedrooms.
Dressing mirrors.
It was like,
pointed at the bed.
It was creepy.
So she finds this secret room after stealing his key after he swings by to ask, how many days are you staying after?
Right.
And he's like jotting it down on a pad of paper, not using a phone, which I actually thought was refreshing. He was writing it down, and she saw the keys because she knew there was a secret door she couldn't get into.
Because she asked him if it was his. She's like, oh, do you have a recording studio? Yeah.
So when she swings open the door, you see, like, it starts to look like a sound.
Monitors.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, when you walk in at first, it looks like it could be a sound studio. But then, you see all the monitors. She can clearly see her room. So then she starts going through these files. And then she's able to put together what happened. Like the fact that she was drugged because her friend helped her get into bed.
Put her into bed, tucked her in.
So then she went outside in the balcony with the gentleman. And then she's like, I'm going to take a shower. So she goes to take a shower, and they leave and take her purse.
Correct.
Yes. And she gets out, and they're gone.
Then she takes she cuts herself on her foot. Right? She puts
because she dropped the glass.
Exactly.
Which is where the blood came from.
And then she runs out, hails the next cab after them to chase them. And then you see her coming back in a different car, yell into the car door, slam the car shut, and then go back inside. Or so we thought. She didn't go back inside because we found out later that main girl's husband.
Well, we actually find this out before the sound studio. She finds out that her husband had an affair with her best friend. Now, from what we understand, or at least what I remember from the movie, the flight was only 2 hours away from wherever they were because I didn't get where they actually lived.
I think like London.
It sounded like it because they both had the affair lady, best friend, and husband had British accents.
Yeah.
Main lady does not.
Correct.
So there's an affair going on, and she's like confronting him over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's later revealed. So, she goes to she leaves the apartment, right?
Yep. To chase after the guys that stole her purse. And then she comes back in a different car that the detective that took her statement drove her back in. But what we don't see until like the end of the movie, when after she finds the bead situation, that's when you find out that her husband actually stops her before she goes back upstairs.
Wait, it's not her. It's the main lady's husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't know that until later on in the movie.
Right.
But we know about the affair. He's confronting her.
She accuses it, or doesn't accuse him. She comes at him with right information over the phone. So she's still in Croatia.
Yes.
And some sort of like chase ensues. Like something happens where, so the sound studio guy, the owner of the Airbnb, that's where I wanted to go from. So she gets the keys. He finds her in that room looking at all these files.
She slams the door open
on him, breaks his nose, and then there's another door with a bunch of chains, which actually I think led into a hallway so she could get out of the actual building.
Yes.
But it was a ton of locks, like different, like sliding locks, key locks, all these different kind of locks. And as she's doing that, she's looking at him, and he's deleting the files that were on the computer, which she was like, oh my God, he's going to, he deleted them all. They're not going to believe me. But she was trying to grab the phone from him, and he fell back and hit his head.
Right.
However,
because they had already arrested her.
Yes, at
this point.
But so he hits his head, and you think he's dead.
He's not.
He's not dead. And then she sees and she freaks out more, and she's able to unlock the door. And that's when she runs out. She meets the taxi driver who just happens to be there.
Up. Yep.
Which makes you think he's in cahoots with sound studio guy.
Yes. Doing some mob stuff.
But she's like, okay, we got to go. And he's like, oh my God, where? So they go somewhere. But everybody catches up to them at this point. Like, nerdy guy probably. He's not nerdy just because he's a sound guy. I'm sorry. So sound guy, he probably contacted the police. You could figure out. And they swarm her, and then a chase ensues. So there's like a sexy lady cop. She's so sexy. And then there's a bunch of other cops, but there's the cop that took the statement of the purse.
Of the purse and of her with the missing person.
Yes. And apparently he never wrote anything down.
He never filed it.
And, that's what she was realizing. And then something happens where he has her, like they're running around like it looks like catacombs, but they're not catacombs. Yeah. But then somehow they're up on the street level again, and she pushes him, and he falls into like the middle of like a rotunda.
No, he doesn't even push. She doesn't push him.
Does he get shot?
No. So she runs one way, the cab driver runs the other way, and then this cop guy, he chases after her. She ducks on the side, and then he comes out, and then she quickly runs over to a different building to go up the stairs and ends up in this thing, and he pulls a gun on her, and she's like, you did this, da, 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 da. And he basically admits to it, like, yeah, she was a slut. She was a, whatever.
Yeah.
And he, like, something happens, like, he's going towards her, and he steps on a big rock, and he falls and trips back.
But at the same time, sexy lady cop watched all this happen.
So she knows that she didn't push her. Or push him, excuse me.
So, actually, now that we're talking about it, we can assume that maybe something happened between them before she got dropped off.
Yeah, because he was mad because she hit on her.
Yeah, and she said no.
And she said no. Yep.
And that's why he didn't write any statements down or anything. And it turns out later on, so they pin the guy for her murder.
Right, he's dead.
They get the autopsy report, trauma to the head, but she drowned. So they're like, he hit her in the head and put her in the bay. And that seems like an open and shut case.
Well, because then you see the video, too.
Right.
That we think it's him.
Yeah, and they all look pretty similar from behind. But, again, now you already know the spoiler. The husband did it. But some time has passed in the film, and you see her with her baby, and she's, like, wheeling the baby to a house, and it's the husband's house, but it's clear that she's not staying there.
Right.
And she's even to the point where she's asking for her spare car key.
Yes.
Which is, I've lost my original, so I'm using my spare, so I'm kind of screwed. And he's like, yeah, it's in the hallway. So she looks in the thing that he told her to look in, and then she reaches into a pocket, and that's the bead she was talking about. Finds a bead. And she knows it's the bead from her necklace because
she bought her that necklace, and when she opened it, went to put it on, one of the beads fell off. So she's like, oh, it's cheap. We can return it, whatever.
So she has a good idea of what this bead is.
Yep.
So she finds the bead in the pocket. She goes in the bathroom. She dials sexy cop.
Sexy cop lady.
And you caught this. I didn't. I thought she hung up because he was like, are you okay in there? And she's like, I'm fine. I assume she just like cut the call.
Yeah, no, she just put the phone in her pocket while it was still on.
And at this point, she already said she didn't want to have tea with him because he made tea because he wanted to talk to her and try to get her back or whatever. So they're sitting across from the table from each other, and she says, don't drink it.
I know. I was like, don't drink the tea. I don't trust it.
That was a good guess.
Yeah.
However, she says,
She starts talking about how you had an affair, you were there, you had enough time. It's only a 2-hour flight. You had enough time. You were there
No,
Friday
but I
night.
mean, doesn't she just say you killed her first, point blank, and then she
She
pieces
might
it?
have. Yeah, she
Then
might have
she
said
pieced
that.
it together. Like, it's not that far. It's not that hard to check travel records. And he's like, you're crazy. And then, yeah, the whole affair thing. And then he finally admits it. Like, he kind of was like, all right, yeah. I was
Well, because she showed him the bead too.
Yeah.
So there was no way of.
getting around that. So then he says, yeah, I was there. I just wanted to talk to her because I wanted to tell you. Oh, no. That's not what happened. He tells a story that didn't happen. But why don't we tell his story and then we'll tell the actual story?
Well, his story was more so that he was showing up there because she was afraid that he was going to tell, or that best friend was going to tell main lady.
And that's what she
about it.
wanted to do.
Right. She wanted to. And he was like, if that's the case, he was hoping to stop her, but then if he needed to be there to clarify or whatever, I don't even know, then that's what he was going to do. So he tells a story that he showed up there to have that conversation or whatever, and best friend's like, no. And he's saying how, like, she wanted to tell because she wanted to be with him, and he's like, no, we can't. And he said how she was crying and they should be together and all of that, and it was an accident, and I don't even know how, but somehow she ended up like he did say he hit her.
He did admit that part.
He admitted that he slapped her and she hit her head on the rocks, and then to him, she died from the head trauma.
But as
she fell into.
But as we learned from earlier, nerd guy or sound guy, he got his head hit pretty hard.
He was still alive.
And he was still alive.
But prior to this, and he doesn't know this, but prior to this, we already know that in the autopsy, and she's putting pieces together, because in the autopsy, she had a blunt force trauma to the head before she died, and she died from drowning.
The manner of death was drowning, not
Right.
blunt force trauma. But what actually happened is, yes, he did fly there. Yes, they talked. However, she was the one that said she needed to tell her, and he was like, but we're in love. We could be together.
Right.
He was like, you said you loved me, and so he was the one that was totally like gunning for her, but she's like, I need to tell her,
worst mistake of my life.
you were at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start telling the truth from now on. And that pissed him off. And that's when he slapped her. And then she hit her head on the rock.
Yeah.
And then she tumbled. Oh, no. Yeah, that's right. So
After he slapped
is that
her,
when the necklace went?
Yeah.
So slap, necklace grab, because he didn't want her to fall.
Yep.
But she falls and hits
The necklace
her head.
breaks.
Yes.
So that's, yeah.
Yes, very much like, does it happen in the Joy Luck Club where it grab the pearls, like
I
kind of
never
thing?
saw it.
That one I saw as a child, and my mom was watching it, and I had feelings about it. But anyway, well, that's another thing we could eventually watch on accident. Yeah, so the beads go everywhere, and he's just watching her hit her head, and he watches her tumble into the water.
Face down.
Well, yeah.
Obviously.
And then he runs away.
Because he thinks she's dead.
But he was the one lusting after her. Like, after that affair started, he thought, I could be with this rich lady and leave my... Like, I mean, I thought she was pretty, but this lady was drawn up to be sassier.
Oh, yeah.
Sexier.
She was the extrovert of the friendship.
Correct. They were more yin and yang
Yes.
than purple.
Yes.
And so, yeah, she's sitting at the table and just laying out all this right information at him. And in the pocket of her coat,
she pulls out the bead and sets it down.
No. This is the end of that.
Oh, in the pocket of her coat. Wait.
She has her phone.
Oh, yeah. So he's like, no, he like goes to like almost like attack her, right? Because he's like, no, what are you going to do? You can't da-da-da. Like, you can't tell anyone or this, that. And she's like, I already did.
And I thought that was a dumb move.
I did too.
Yeah.
Because she's like,
The
but
movie
hot,
was already almost over.
right,
So.
but like hot cop lady, she was like, police are already on their way, whatever. And he's like trying to attack her or something. And she remembers the cab driver saying, go for like the most vulnerable soft areas to
What did she hit him? Where did she hit him?
I think she like hit him like
Oh.
in the throat,
Oh. That his reaction then makes more sense.
and and so he was like out and down. And so she like grabbed the baby and ran out, and she took the baby out of the stroller instead of taking the whole stroller. I thought that was weird
that she didn't take the stroller, but she leaves, and then you see the police cars going in the direction of the house.
Yeah. So
if you can guess what movie that is, and you're the first one in the comments, we will do something special.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because
you'll definitely.
Or wait,
get a shout out.
we could just hold on to the title till the next episode. No cheating.
No cheating. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Now, on a scale of 1 to Finding Carter, is that movie more or less convoluted than Finding Carter?
I would still say less.
And just quickly,
because
though,
she was smart.
Right. But quickly, though, that kind of leads me into the last little bit here before we draw the word. It's very in the infancy of the planning stages, but we are going to do a reaction to season 1 and season 2 of Finding Carter.
Oh, man.
I know there has to be people out there that would love to hear this.
Right.
And it's going to take time, but we will go through every episode and discuss it a la Tuesday fashion.
Absolutely. That, like, I'm already, like, my heart rate is, like...
I got to look into it more just so we can... Exactly. I want to make it go quickly. I don't want any copyright issues.
No, we don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of Finding Carter studying.
And that's,
So if you're a Finding Carter fan...
Get ready for it.
Follow us.
It's going to happen.
Be aware. Take a look at our website. That's 100%tuesday.com. Our Instagram is at 100%tuesday. All of those things. So do it. Follow whatever you need to do. But let me draw the next word. It's still in a plastic bag. Oh,
yeah.
Goodness.
We never went back. You know what? I actually did pull the fishbowl out. I have it out, actually.
Okay, so
I'm in the next time I'll bring it, hopefully. I should set a reminder. I should do that.
Okay, ready?
Oh, my God. Okay.
What? Gum.
Ooh.
This seems
gum.
fun.
I like gum.
Yeah.
Gum.
I have opinions about gum.
Okay. We won't get into those opinions.
Yeah, we got to save them.
So gum. I mean,
we were a lot happier about this one. Yeah. The last two were
pregnancy was
and Mount
rough.
Everest was
was a little scary. That was scary. That was like a high pressure situation.
It's one of my fears.
I know, but pregnancy is kind of one of my fears.
Okay.
But
definitely,
we got through it.
We got bubble. Well, it doesn't say bubble gum.
It's not bubble gum. It's just gum.
Any gum.
Oh man. Okay.
I
We don't
forgot
give it
about
away.
these gums.
No, stop. Don't get. We gotta save material, man.
Yeah.
We gotta save material.
We gotta put it on ice.
Oh my God. Anyway, well, so I am Code Red.
I am your resident blonde Asian.
And we are the 100% Tuesday podcast. We hope you enjoyed our show and you'll follow us.
Yes. And remember, we strive to be your number one choice in background noise. Okay?
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.